Hi everybody, I'm here to talk about last night's defeat at Hampden by Iceland by 3 goals to 1. And before I go into the game, I think I'll just generalise. Steve Clarke's time as manager should be up. It should have been up, a year ago. You look at the facts, any other manager would have had the sack by now. The facts are he's played 12 friendlies and he's won 2 against the mighty Luxembourg and Gibraltar. In his last 21 games, he's won 3. Now, any other manager in the past would have had the chop long ago with these stats, but no, the SFA are keeping faith with him in the hope that we'll qualify for the next World Cup, which starts in September with a couple of away games. Talking of which, the last 2 games, both at Hampden, we have lost 6 goals and scored 1. So how are we going to do it against Denmark and Belarus away in September? The mind boggles. One of the reasons Clarke was brought in as the manager, and maybe for the first few games it actually worked, was that he had a plan which always involved having a really solid defence, in fact 2 defensive a scheme for most fans, but at least it worked. Not now, we're losing goals. 3-0 against Greece at Hampden, 3-1 against Iceland at Hampden last night. That says it all. Maybe part of the reason is, not the whole reason, but part of the reason is he keeps playing that donkey Grant Hanley, who wasn't even playing every game for third tier Birmingham last season. Meanwhile, he's got guys like Jack Henry and McKenna, and they're sitting on the bench while Donkey Hanley plays every game because he's got loyalty to certain players. Yeah, that's the problem. Loyalty to the failures and the has-beens. So that's one thing about him anyhow. Last night, you saw that come to fruition. It's quite a reasonable proposition some people have to say that teams reflect their managers. Well, this Scottish team certainly reflects Mr. Misery, Clarke. Some people are now calling him Jurassic Clarke. He's so old-fashioned and out of date and just lost the plot. That performance last night, just like the manager, boring, no imagination, no ideas, insipid, slow, no energy, just a team built to make the fans miserable, just as Mr. Misery, Clarke himself, always sounds miserable even after a win. He can't even smile. This guy has got to go, and some of these players, like Donkey Hanley, for instance, have got to go. Where's the rhyme or reason? Angus Gunn gets injured through his own fault, the way he jumped up to grab a harmless cross and fell down and hurt his ankle or whatever. He goes off after 2 minutes and he brings on this guy nobody's ever heard of, Kieran Slicker. Now Slicker, as it turned out, there's a misnomer if ever there was one for a player. This guy was anything but slicker than other players. He caused 2 of the goals, and you could blame him even for the second one, where he could have palmed it out when he was on the line, and instead it went under him and into the net. So basically all 3 goals down to him. His kicking was atrocious. He didn't look the part. And as I was driving home from the match, listening to the BBC report, I discovered this guy had only played 9 minutes. Yes, I said minutes, not games, for Ipswich last season. Ipswich, one of the relegated teams, one of the worst teams in that division, and this guy got 9 minutes in a cup tie against a lower division team, and he's thrown in to play, even if it is only a friendly, for the Scottish team at Hampden. Unbelievable. McCrory is sitting on the bench, a guy that played 20 odd games for Kelly last season, has experience from Rangers, and yet he's sitting on the bench while he throws this guy in. At one point in the second half, I think he collected a pass back from somebody, and the crowd did that ironic cheering. That's how ridiculous his debut had been. The crowd were just laughing at him. So let's hope we never see this guy again. this morning's papers I see is bemoaning the fact, oh, Craig Gorton was injured and Xander Clark was injured and Liam Kelly was injured. Well, the first I've heard of it, I've never seen anything on any Rangers site that said Kelly was injured at the end of the season. We just know he doesn't like to pick Rangers players for obvious reasons. He can only avoid picking John Souttar, and same with Connor Barron. He's just shoved in the bench anyhow. He'll never get a game. So that's the situation we are in with goalkeepers. They can't even put on the correct guy, the experienced guy, in the second minute of the game. So anyhow, what with that goalkeeper, Donkey Hanley, the other big mistake he made was, let's get back to the five at the back. It's the only way we can fit in Andy Robertson and Kieran Tierney. No, don't bother trying to fit them into the same team. Make up your mind. One of them's a left back, play him, and the other one doesn't get a game. So if you think always injured Kieran Tierney is the best player, you play him at left back. If you think it's the done Andy Robertson, you play him at left back. Strictly speaking, I wouldn't play either the way they play right now. Josh Doig would be as well a young guy getting a go than these two. One's always injured, one's done. I'll be surprised if he even gets a new contract at Liverpool next season. So using that five at the back just to fit in two left backs is just ridiculous. Make up your mind, mate, and have the courage of your convictions and play one of them at left back and the others on the bench, if even that. So that was his first mistake. Oh, and we've got a new striker. Oh, another Ipswich guy, another failure, George Hurst. He missed a sitter with the head, 6-yard line, free header, heads it over the bar. That's when it was 1-0. Admittedly, before the equaliser from Souttar, he did have a decent shot from about 16 yards out the goal. He did well to save, so that was the best thing he did all night. Second half, another chip into the box. He's just outside the 6-yard line, and this time at least he gets his header on target, but it was too weak, and the goalie made a decent save, an easy save if truth be told. So 2 chances he misses, 1 the goalie saves. And that was all he did basically all night. I suppose it's still better than the non-striking strikers we play usually, like Dykes and Shea Adams, who came on as a sub later on. So maybe persevere with that guy. But as for the rest of them, the so-called superstars from Italy, Gilmer, McTominay and Ferguson, they were all anonymous last night. McGinn wasn't much better. The right back, he had a great season with Sturm Graz. Yeah, he might have had a great season, but who knows? We're going by the newspaper saying that. He is no better than Fat Tony Ralston from what I saw last night. And in fact, the best right back we've got, Nathan Patterson, he came on with about 15 minutes, 10 minutes to go. That's the guy who should have been starting. If he's fit, he should be starting. But no, as we all know, Jurassic Clark has a great loyalty to his players. So it's a wonder he didn't play Fat Tony Ralston, who can't even get in the Celtic team. So there's all sorts of things going wrong. Last night's display was a disgrace. No energy, no commitment, no getting stuck in. No wonder the place was half empty. I mean, I'd be surprised if there was more than 20,000 there last night, and half of them were kids who probably never get to a game. Personally, I left with 20 minutes to go. I've never done that in my life, never left a game 20 minutes before the end, but I did. And as I walked out at the front of the main stand, there was hundreds of other people leaving. So that's how bad it was when you leave 20 minutes from the end in a friendly. It doesn't matter anyhow. So an absolute shocker of a performance, all stemming from the manager who, as I always say, managers know nothing. He exemplifies that. The guy is an absolute joke, and the SFA, which we know has always been a joke, they're not going to get rid of him in the coming months, so we'll have to wait until we're knocked out of the World Cup qualifiers before they look around and find somebody else. Hey, let's hope that by that time Ange hasn't found a job and they can hire a proper manager who might get the best out of the decent players we do have and the younger ones who show promise and might lead to a better future, utilised properly by a decent manager instead of Jurassic Clark. Oh well, On to Liechtenstein on Monday. Another defeat, probably.